Are you looking to make the decision either to rent a home or to buy a home? Right now, in this video, I'm going to go over the costs of each. We've seen interest rates increase the highest they've been in your lifetime. I know if you talk to the baby boomers, they're going to say, you know what, we saw interest rates 18%, and they're not wrong. Those were definitely higher interest rates, but we're also experiencing, especially in the Okanagan, higher home prices. So these interest rates, 7% on an interest rate on, in the Okanagan, we saw about appreciation in the last 3 years, about $300,000. So think about the 7% compared to on just even the appreciation value, what we've seen. People are probably paying the highest amount of interest than they ever have in the past. Overall, right now, interest rates are the highest they're ever going to be. Predictions, we don't know what the predictions are going to come through. Hi, I'm Mark Coons here with Selling Kelowna Real Estate Group, and we are here providing you with videos, knowledge to help you know and see Kelowna and the surrounding areas from a different lens. If you've been thinking about moving here or even moving around the Okanagan, pick up that phone. We'd love to help you out. Send us a text message, email us, whatever you need to do. We have your back. And if you are getting any value from any of the videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment below what you're liking most, what you want to see more of, and what your favorite parts about the video was. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Some economists are saying we're going to see a decrease of interest rates of 2% next year. Some are predicting some more increases here for 2023 still. And we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't fully know. And it really just depends on the powers that be and the decisions they make, deciding what they're going to do with the rates. But in this video, we're going to go over right now. Hopefully the costs are peaked. Maybe if we see some minor increases in the interest rates, it might affect it and make it a little bit more unaffordable, but we're hopefully not going to see a great deal of additional increases in the interest rates going forward. So is it the right time for you? That's a decision you have to make, but that's a decision we can make together. So reach out, give us a call if you do have questions. Let me know your thoughts. What are you seeing the same things I'm seeing? Are you thinking the market's going to tank? Are you bullish on it? What is the situation? What do you think interest rates are going to do? Let me know in the comments, reach out. I'd love to have a conversation with you. We're just going to compare it to where hopefully it's the highest amount that you're going to pay right now on a home. And we're going to compare it to what it's going to cost you to rent. All right, so stay tuned in this video. If you do have comments below, let me know your thoughts. So without further ado, I'm just going to dive right into it. We're looking at the average home prices in each area. So we're just going to keep it simple and just look at the average home prices for the areas. And then we're also going to compare what in those areas homes can rent for. All right. For investments right now, it's not really a good time in the Okanagan to get into the market for the most part. Home prices are up, costs are up, and especially if you can't get vacant possession, if you're buying a tenanted property and to keep it tenanted, you can't get anybody out. You can't get a new tenancy in there. If it's an old tenancy, on 5 years ago's tenancy rates, well, you're not going to be cash flowing. The investment side of the market right now, it's not a good time to invest. There's certain good deals in there, maybe short-term rentals or pre-sale options, but for the most part, and if you do have questions, if you do want to get in the investments, reach out, because I am staying close to this, and there's going to be a good time here coming up. It's just not quite yet. A good time for people potentially to get into the market. But when we're looking at buying and selling or living in a home, everybody needs a home. So we're going to have to either associate the trade-off. You're going to have a home to sell, home to live in, to buy, or do you rent a home to live in? So you're going to look at those options, and we're going over the chart here, and we're looking at the average home prices. And so the cost of the mortgage I've calculated on this chart there are really just based on a 20% 20% down for the purchase price for the average purchase price for 2023 so far. We're into August right now, so it's about 7.5-8 months worth of data for the average home price. It's not for the complete year, but it is for 2023 specifically. And we're seeing the cost of the mortgage on the right hand side there. And I'm assuming a 6.5% interest rate. It might be up, might be down from that, and it's amortized over 25 years on it. So we just really don't know exactly where things will go, but hopefully we're at the peak of the market. All right, as we look through these numbers, the numbers are really saying that it is really favoring renting over buying. You know, if you look at the comparables, what you can rent a home for using the baselines on it. So roughly, if you use Zumper's guide, it's about $800 to $1,000 per room for a single family home. So the bigger the home, the lower the dollar per room would be. Smaller the home, obviously the dollar per room is going to be a little bit higher, and it's all going to depend on a different number of amenities and what you have to offer. Location, does it have a garage, what's included in it? So it's just using it as a rule of thumb. But so if you have a 4-bedroom home, you can probably expect about a $4,000 worth of rent. Some people are renting an upstairs for $3,000 for the upstairs for a 3-bedroom, and then $2,000 for the basement. There's a number of different options out there, but people are looking at it roughly, say, around $800 to $1,000 per room, depending on the type of building and what you're getting into. So really the numbers are favoring renting over buying, but will that continue? When you're looking at timing the market, and this is something that I really implore buyers to look at, is, are you trying to time the market? And what are you trying to achieve from timing the market? Because to gain equity, a lot of people look at equity and the wealth that you grow in equity, and that's not timing the equity and timing the market. You can never perfectly time the market. Where you get the equity is from time in the market. If you get in now, and we'll explain it by the end of the video why right now is probably one of the best times to get into the market, and you can let me know in the comments whether you believe me or not. And I'm going to have another video specifically on all the economic side of things and what's happening in the market, and why I think right now, if you are looking to buy a home, you can probably find some good deals. At the apartment side of things, the numbers are a little bit more favoring, a little bit more still on the renting side, but it is making a little bit more sense for the buyers. If somebody's looking to buy a home, just the cost of the mortgage are just going to be a little bit less, just giving overall on the purchase price. So Kelowna North, we got average home price in there, $585,000. Cost of the mortgage with 20% down, 6.5% interest rate over 25 years. That's $3,135 cost on it. If you look to rent something similar to that, you're probably looking about $2,800 to $3,000 to be able to rent that same type of building. And so that's really what you're looking at for it. So the costs are a little bit closer, and with rents, we're not with these costs of the mortgage though, because these are strata payments. We might not be strata properties, they are not including the $300 or $400 strata fees that are included with it. So the costs of mortgage are strictly based on, this is for the single family homes as well, it's just basing on the cost of interest rate and principal, what you'd have to pay on your mortgage. Doesn't include any additional costs. So we have to increase and assume that there's going to be additional costs on this. But this is the simple, easiest baseline, how you can really determine, does it make sense to buy or rent in this market? The issues. All right, so we've already established through the first part of this video, renting right now in 2023, August of 2023 in the Okanagan, is really favoring renting over buying. All right, so I'm a real estate agent. Obviously, I want people to, buy real estate, but for me, it's about clients and people making educated decision what's best for them. When we're looking at it, whether you rent or you buy, we're going to look at the projections for the future. Central One Economics, their economics group, is predicting that rates are going to drop by 2% in 2024. So this is really, if you calculate that 2% drop and you calculate it on $1 million property with 20% down, that will save a potential home buyer $931 a month. So potentially a year from now, rates could be 2% lower. You're going to be saving just under $1,000 a month. So $12,000, close to $12,000 a year, strictly on your mortgage payments. So that's obviously going to make life a lot more affordable. And I think that's what a lot of buyers are waiting for, is for some of those costs to come down so they can get into the market and feel a little bit more comfortable with getting in the market. That being said, you're also going to have a whole lot more additional demand. There's also going to be other people, other competition, other buyers are all thinking the same. There's a number of different buyers out there in the market waiting on the sidelines, just waiting. And they're waiting for the cost to come down. They're waiting for that 2% drop so they can get in the market. So you're not the only one thinking that. So we have to get ahead of that. If you want to stay ahead of the competition, you have to think try and predict what they're thinking and get ahead of it. Be 1 or 2 steps ahead of it. So this is what the purpose of this video is going to be, is trying to get ahead of what are those other buyers doing and how do you position yourself so you're actually better off. So if we're predicting on about $931, just under $1,000 benefit, when the rates start to drop, demand is probably going to increase. Okay, we don't know for sure. We don't know what's going to happen in the economy. We don't know a number of different factors, but we can assume that interest rates come down, demand will increase. We saw it earlier this year. They put a pause on interest rates. The market started to take off, started increasing in interest rates. It cooled off a little bit. All right, so we're still seeing about 100 to 150 sales a week here in the Okanagan. So homes are still selling. All right, homes are still active. People are always going to need a home to live in. So you can always go, with real estate, people are always going to need a home to go into. And, if they can get off the sidelines now, and if you can afford it, you're going to be benefit. So if you calculate the numbers, so based on the 2% of the payments, so if interest rates come down 2%, right now, that same buyer, what you would qualify for would be about an $800,000 mortgage, okay? $800,000 purchase price, $850,000 purchase. So if the rates come down 2%, so we're saying $1 million purchase, we'll just use that as an average. So you're financing 80% of that, 20% down. So you're got a mortgage of $800,000. That'll be the equivalently have the same payments at the lower interest rate. So in the future, next year, that same $1 million property, right now, that same person can only purchase that property. They can only qualify because of the interest rate increase, $815,000. That is not the mortgage amount. That's the purchase price amount. Okay, we're not assuming can you afford the down payment. There's a lot of other variables to make sure and make it kind of throughout it. But with the variables, what you'd be looking about, so with the $815,000 purchase price, there'd be about 20% down. So essentially a mortgage of $650,000. So that is really the difference. So what somebody today can qualify for, say $650,000 mortgage, that'd be an $850,000 purchase price. Potentially by 2024, with that prediction of the 2% drop in interest rates, that same buyer can now afford up to $1 million. So you tell me, what is that going to do to the competition? People can afford more. Competition is going to increase. Okay, so there's always going to be competition, and it's just getting ahead of that competition and thinking a couple steps ahead of it. So is it the right time for you? That's a decision you have to make, but that's a decision we can make together. So reach out, give us a call if you do have questions. Let me know your thoughts. What are you seeing? The same things I'm seeing? Are you thinking the market's going to tank? Are you thinking are you bullish on it? What is the situation? What do you think interest rates are going to do? Let me know in the comments. Reach out. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Have a great day, everybody. Reach out if you have anything. But until next time.